Welcome to the 2018 BYU Football Media Day Between the Lines web chats. I'm McClain, and we are going to have a filled day of BYU football today, starting with these web chats from 8 to 9 Mountain Time, followed by State of the Program with Kalani Sitake, Tom Homo, and Trevor Matich. Following that, we'll have a 2-hour BYU Sports Nation, and then more web chats. Then we have Cougars in the NFL with some of our recent draft picks, and also some of the former BYU players that are now in the NFL, followed by even more web chats. So we're literally going to be here all day for you guys. But first, we're going to start off with head coach Kalani Sitake and Trevor Matich, ESPN analyst. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Awesome. Are you guys morning people? Because this is early.
I think being part of the gospel and serving a mission, you have to be a morning person. Being a father and a husband, that's how it works out.
I think I got off my mission thinking I would get up at 6 in the morning every day.
Yeah.
Nope, went right back to getting up late.
That's what I did too. That's what I'm saying. This 8 o'clock, like I'm up by 8, but being productive at 8 o'clock is a whole different story.
How many kids are jumping on your chest, playing tag on your bed in the morning?
It's always when you can sleep in is when they wake you up. So.
That's right. That's
when you set an alarm and you wake up 30 minutes before and can't go back to sleep. So that's my luck with sleep. But I'm excited for the media day, and it means that football, the season's right around the corner for us, and camp's right around the corner. So it's time to go. I'm excited.
Excited to go. Well, right before we went on the air, we were talking to Trevor, and he said he has a year or two of eligibility left. I don't know where you would use him, but.
Well, you said you had 4. So,
and I have 4.
Yeah, let's do it. I could have used you guys a long time ago. So.
we just want to give you as many options as possible. Know that you have multiple options here.
We'll take it.
All right, Kalani, so when you're not coaching, what are you doing? What have you been up to this summer?
Football is my life, and other than that, it's my family, So I think it's all intertwined in there, and we could talk about my daughter's dance recital and the quarterback battle all in the same conversation. And I have a wonderful family, a wonderful wife and children that love BYU and love being part of this, the role that I'm at right now as a head coach. And so we're excited. We're excited to be part of the family and really excited about the season. So just anticipation and having great alumni and that's around, especially Trevor Matich and others that are here to support us. Our players feel it. I feel it as a head coach, and we're going to use that strength to help us this year.
When Coach talks about family, that is a winning principle on the field as well. I mean, and I'm glad to see it, the way that he does it. As I travel around the country, I talk to programs big and small. I talk to national champions and people that are on the rise. And the ones that succeed the most, that do the most with what they've got, are always the ones that integrate their personal families with their program, so that the players know the coaches not just as coaches, but as husbands and fathers. That helps those players not just in their development as people, it helps them with more focus and more commitment to what they're doing as football players, because all of a sudden you've got a much bigger picture that's there. And I love, Coach, that you're talking about family like that.
And we had your kids send us in a few videos for Father's Day. I don't know if you saw them.
I did. Yeah, that was awesome. I appreciate you guys editing the part where my kids unfortunately have my sense of humor, and they like to poke fun at me quite a bit. And but they're everything to me. So I'm really excited that it's that BYU is so accepting of families, and that this whole football experience, even as a fan, I mean, I always make the statement that before I was a football coach or a football player at BYU, I was always a fan. And so it's fun to be a fan with my kids and my wife and my family and my extended family, being raised as a BYU Cougar, and so we enjoy all the BYU experience, from Studio C, dance, everything that's all about BYU. We're really excited to be part of it.
And you've been able to spread that love a little bit. Back in April with your More to Life Foundation, you guys went to Harlem and helped the kids over there. What was that experience like for you?
That was great. I mean, anytime that we can do good in the community, I think that the background is because of Lavelle, and the family aspect of everything is because of Lavelle. And I think he's been such a huge influence in my life. And now as a coach, it still carries on. And so he did a service mission out with Patty in Harlem, and expressed to me while he was still alive that was something important to him. That community was important to him and Patty. So we went back and did some work and took 30 players with us and had a great time. And I was really proud of how our players handled themselves, and they continue to stay in touch with the people in Harlem and with those kids, and really excited to see them make a difference.
And you can tell that those little kids look up to the players and to you so much when you watch the videos. We showed one there earlier. So we dived a little bit into what's happening today. Trevor, we have some recent draft picks here: Jamal Williams, Brunson Kaufusi, Fred Warner. What's it like? What impact does it have on BYU to have a guy like Jamal Williams, who had a great first season in the NFL?
It tells the players here that they're part of a bigger program that has excellence that they can aspire to, and that there's football beyond BYU football, and that's something that's always been here, and it continues to be. It also tells recruits that if they want to go to the NFL, BYU is a great platform to get there. When I talk to NFL scouts, I ask them about sort of the reputation of players at different programs around the country. And when I get to BYU, I let them know that I came to BYU, so this is my school, so that they don't think I'm trying to sneak up on them. But they always say the same thing about BYU players that leave college and go to the NFL. They always say that they love coaching BYU football players because they say they are coachable. They are humble, but they have a healthy sense of who they are, which is different from arrogance. That's the kind of confidence that those coaches want, because then they go on the football field and they know that they can win, but they don't tell the coach how to coach them. They are guys that stay out of trouble. They work hard. They're good teammates, and this comes from NFL scouts. So I think that the whole concept from recruit to Cougar to NFL is something that makes this stage a really good platform to get to the next level.
Another one of those guys that you're talking about is Fred Warner, Kalani, and we know that he signed a 4-year deal recently with the 49ers. He was getting some first-team reps. So obviously the 49ers are seeing something in him that they like. What do you think that is?
Well, I mean, other than the fact that he loves football, well, he like what Trevor said, he represented himself well, on the national stage, played against, with the type of teams that we played in the last couple of years. The film is out there with him against Power 5 opponents, and whether we won or lost, I think he showed that he belonged on the next level in the NFL, and definitely as a draft pick. I think he's gonna. I've said it before. He has a lot more things to do, and potential-wise, he's got so much growth. And then he graduated in 3.5 years at a really difficult academic institution like BYU. So he's seems to fit perfectly the mold, and that's, they don't have to worry about his behavior. He knows he's already lived the life of a disciplined athlete and a disciplined student, and so it only makes sense that he'll do well in San Francisco. And we have a good history with Niners. That's why I was a Niner fan, because all the BYU Cougars that played there. So it's fitting for him to be there. Yeah,
and you talk about growth, and he has gotten bigger. Some of these guys, they're already big when they play in college, and then you see when they come back after they've been training for the NFL, and they are just huge.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't just stop there, though. After they're done playing, you get used to eating so much, and
I know, Coach. I know. I can see the monitor. I got you.
Oh, I'm with you. So it's the we'll have to just warn him in 20 years to slow it down.
Either that or just keep playing for 20 years.
Yeah, that'll work too.
There you go. I actually did want to ask you guys this. So, because you were an offensive lineman, you always talk about how much you love food. If we were to take you both down to Bam Bam's Barbecue right now, who do you think could put down the most meat, the most food?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, most people eat till they're full. I eat till my mouth gets tired. So that's what I do.
That is strong.
You can't chew anymore.
Can I borrow that? I mean, that's really good. That's really good.
That's a good line.
Yeah, no, see, right now I look like I swallowed New Jersey. My goal right now is to get down to where I look like I swallowed Rhode Island, and then Poughkeepsie, New York, and then down to a small town like maybe Nephi, right? And then just, so I'm on the way back down. It's a good thing, but eating until my mouth gets tired. That's strong.
I might use that line too, actually.
You have a couple of 330-pound defensive linemen, though, but they don't look like me. They can run. They can move.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, we have a big Mo, and he lost over 80 pounds, and he still looks really big.
He's at 80 now.
Yeah. So
buys some time, but watch the play by Bailey Smith to get in throwing lane. Almost picks that football off. Watch how close this is. Great elevation, great timing, and that is close to being picked off.
Linehan in to punt it away.
For ESPN, what was that like for you just to come back and be able to call a game at BYU?
It was a thrill to be here. It was a thrill to be back at BYU on game day, because what I do for ESPN requires me to be in the studio or to be at other stadiums all the time. So to come back last year and to see those banners waving in the breeze between the corners of the stadium, look at the mountains off in the distance, it was just, to hear the roar of the crowd, it was a thrill. It just, you know, game day never leaves you when you've experienced it here, because there's just something about that stadium, those mountains, those banners, and those fans that I haven't experienced anywhere else. There's places with bigger stadiums, there's places with, you know, that are beautiful, but this is a special place, and I'll tell you what, to sit there and call that game was a thrill.
That's awesome. There is a different feeling here, that's for sure. Kalani, this year, it's hard to know during spring ball exactly what you have. That's what you have fall camp for. But from what you've seen so far, what do you see that the offense is going to do this season?
Well, I've seen offensive staff that demand a lot from their players, and at times it's been really uncomfortable for our players to really extend themselves and have so much expected of them. But they're answering the call, you know, and having these guys step up, and we were physical. I think having Jeff Grimes as an offensive coordinator, he's an O-line guy, so there couldn't be any. It's all physical, you know. So for him, he could have used way more live sessions, even though we did put the quarterback live 5 practices. And I think we were able to see how our guys perform. I think it's so much in the past. And it's kind of where college football has gone. Even regular football, everyone's in the shotgun, and they play 7-on-7 most of the time. And so it was nice in spring to get the pads on and have guys get hit a little bit, and really see how they react when it's actually live football.
Yeah, you have a lot of quarterbacks at your disposal. I guess disposal maybe isn't the best word, but
it got me really excited from what we saw in the practices in spring, and just the discipline that our guys had, especially on the line of scrimmage. And we had some real good battles up front, and I think that's kind of where BYU has to go. We have to own the line of scrimmage in order for us to have a chance.
You know, it's interesting, Coach, you say that. I love what you're doing here. I love what you're doing with that. Because every year I travel around the country, and literally I'll drive 12,000 miles in my car, my time, my expense, and I visit programs, literally I start in Nashville home. And I'll end up in LA to Seattle, from Miami up to Boston, and literally from ocean to ocean. And I'll talk to just head coaches, coordinators, et cetera. And I spoke with a head coach this year who was, as an assistant, was a national champion. Now he's a head coach at a Power 5 school. And he said that, and he talked about the physical nature of his goals. And he said that there's never been a national championship when asked how, or national champion. When they were asked how they won the national championship, said, we out-finessed them. They always said we won the line of scrimmage. We were more physical than they were. And so the fact that the basics that you're focusing on right here matches what I see all around the country in the most successful programs.
Well, and that's, I think, I think you seem biased when you're an O-lineman, talking about how important O-line game is, but if you ask anybody that plays football on the offensive side, quarterback, running back, receivers, tight ends, they'll always go back to the 5 guys that get the least attention than anyone else. And so you have to be a different breed to play on the line of scrimmage. And I think when I was a kid growing up watching BYU and going to the games, we always had great O-linemen. And that's, I said before, Mormons make good O-linemen, so we should be able to keep working on that. And I think Coach Grimes has done a great job with Coach Pugh in establishing that culture. But I think it's important to understand that we know the game is a physical game. It's important for us to protect our players, you know, but the intensity level can always be ramped up, and it can always be at a certain level and standard. And so although we want to keep limiting the hits that our guys take to the head, it's important that they understand the intensity of the game. And so when we say physical, it's more of the aggression. And being able to do that with a lot of discipline, it's really hard to do, but our guys have done a great job in spring.
For some reason, the O-linemen seem to be the nicest guys, too.
Well, they're the nicest guy until 1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. And then all of a sudden, nice goes out the window. That's the cool part of it, though. I mean, because you look at Coach Sitake, I mean, he's a player. Coach, you're a fullback. I see you as a coach first, but I see that player in you. And the thing is, Coach has as big a heart as anybody I've ever been around in this sport. But you look into his eyes, And he looks like a guy that will flip that switch and run over you and like it.
I thought you were about to say something
I
romantic. You look into his eyes.
No,
you went a different way than where I thought you were going to go.
No, because you see the fire. You see the fire, and it's great. And that goes back to what you're saying. Offensive linemen are nice until they're not. And that's cool.
Well, I appreciate you guys being here with us. Up next, we're going to have Aaron Roderick and Fesi Sitake. Any dirt or anything you want to
No, I
give me on
love
those
guys. I played with A-Rod, and so we have that teammate brotherhood already. And then my coaching career, I've been with him the whole time. So I've been his O-line coach when he was offensive coordinator, and then Fesi, I basically raised that kid. So they're two guys that I trust with my life.
Well, we're excited to get him on here. Thanks again for being here with us, guys.